Well, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, March 2nd, 2022. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, success stories, but mainly we're here to support you. So we're going to go back to the basics today and just make sure that everyone is on the same page with the value proposition of the two-step funding program. So I have my screen shared here with you, and you should each now have a landing page that looks just like this. Now, your landing page will have a unique URL. So when clients come to your landing page, they can understand how the program works and they can enroll. And when they click on the enroll, they'll be able to purchase and you'll automatically be notified. You'll be given credit. You will earn commissions. So let's start with questions at this point. Does anyone have questions regarding the two-step funding program? Because I'd rather go through specific questions or concerns that you have, and then we'll go through the full value proposition. All right, so Timothy's asking again, what's the difference of the two-step funding program versus the full access to capital? Thank you for asking that, Timothy. So the two-step funding program, as delineated on the page, is composed of two steps. The first step is the 4-week curriculum we call small business certification to get the client credible on paper. At that point, if it is determined that they are a good fit, then we'll move them forward into step 2, get funding, which is in fact the access to capital program. So you don't make less, you actually make more. You'll make $100 up front off of each client as they enroll in step 1. We'll take care of the mentoring, getting them through the 4 weeks, the 4 modules, which is described, of course, here at the bottom, no changes to that. And then if you would like, you can bring them in to step 2 using your white label landing page. And at that point, they'll contract with you. They'll promise to pay the $2,500 refundable deposit after their first tranche of capital. They'll promise to pay you the performance fee, again, which you set. Commonly, it's 10 to 15%. You wouldn't need to do delegated mentoring in step 2 of the two-step process because, frankly, the mentoring's already been done. So you'll be able to optimize your income. Does that help, Timothy? Great. So let's just ask a little bit of each of you that are online this morning. What do you think your projected number of enrollments will be in the two-step funding program this week, the first week of March? And we don't ask that to hold you accountable. There's no production requirements. But if we don't see some conversions, then either we've not done a good job of training you or you're failing to implement. So Al, what do you think? Could you go ahead and put into the question and answer how many conversions you expect off your landing page this week, Al? Antoine, same for you. Antoine, how many conversions this week do you think you'll have, meaning people that have enrolled in the two-step funding program using your URL? Beatrice, how about yourself? You're down in Houston, a big market. What's your number? Ben, looking for your feedback. And so we need to have exchange and interaction. So if you're going to be on the webinar, we welcome you, but we need your input. So Mr. Barchi, Mr. Ryans, Doug, Jeremy, John, LJ, Lon, Mr. Rich, Veronica, I'm awaiting your feedback. And if that number is low and you feel that you need assistance, then let's talk about now. Let's exchange and dialogue what assistance that you need. Because I think we can agree on some underlying facts. Most small business owners want and need more capital to be able to start and grow. I think that's a universal truth. Secondly, I think what's also universal truth is most of them are not credible enough on paper. Because frankly, if they were credible enough on paper, they wouldn't need your and my help. They would be down at the bank this morning signing off on the paperwork. So what we do is credible, it's ethical, it's effective. And by breaking it down into 2 steps, what we're doing is making sure that we get the right clients into the funding phase. Because we've all heard the examples of clients that we've had in the past that would come to the table like Darren. Darren's a good guy, so I have nothing negative to say about Darren. He's smarter than me, he's younger than me, he's more handsome than I am, he's more educated than I am. But Darren enrolled in Access to Capital and expected $7.5 million in 28 days. And between you and I, despite all of Darren's positive attributes, he is not credible enough on paper for $7.5 million. So Darren is disgruntled. We don't want disgruntled clients, do we? We want satisfied. We want 100% satisfied clients. This is our best way to accomplish that, is to break it into 2 steps. Now, can you continue to enroll people directly into Access to Capital? Absolutely, if that's what you'd prefer to do. But if we want to optimize client satisfaction, I would take the 2-step approach. Let's take them through step 1, the 4 modules, build out their loan package, and offer to help them get credible on paper. And then if we feel that they're a good fit, then let's flip them over into Access to Capital and move forward. All right, so Ben says he's not sure if he has a landing page yet. So if you don't have a landing page, just go ahead and email me. And I believe support at Business Paralegal. So if you don't have a landing page, that's a problem. That would be a big barrier, wouldn't it, Ben? So we're gonna resolve that. So just because I don't have a real effective way to take notes during the webinar, if you'll email me, support at Business Paralegal, or email us, support at businessparalegal.com, and you can just simply state landing page. That will let us know, we've got a problem, right? You simply don't have a landing page, so you'll probably have no conversions, but we can fix that. All right, so I won't read off names, but we'll just look at some of the estimates. And so we have one of you that's expecting 3 conversions this week, and that's not a bad week. That would be $300 up front. Not a whole lot, but better than a stick in the eye. And then if you convert those 3 over, which you should be able to do, into the Access to Capital, now your gross income from step 2 is in excess of $10,000, or should be. Okay, so there's a anticipated volume of 3. The next individual is expecting 4, even better. The next is 5, and 5 is a real nice number. That's 1 a day. Veronica's expecting 8, which is good, so a little bit better than 1 a day, counting weekends. So you might ask, where do the prospects come from? Well, any of you that have been with us for any time at all, your first set of prospects would be your unsold leads. So those people that you had introduced Access to Capital, but they never signed up. Those would be a great group of people to introduce, because now you have an alternative that they might find even more palatable. Your second group would be those that did sign up for Access to Capital, but didn't receive a cash funding offer. Take Mr. White, for example. Mr. White has like 40 to 50 of those individuals who signed up for Access to Capital, filled out the funding app. They were not credible enough on paper to get any cash funding. Now, we offered them the guaranteed financing, but not everybody wanted that because it's not a cash disbursement. Great. So what Mr. White is doing is reaching out to those 40 or 50 people and saying, hey, we've got another option now. And I just emailed everyone over the weekend with some recommended language of how to pivot those people so that they understand that they're getting a grant allocation of $2,104. And that's referenced, somewhere here. Yep. That they're getting a grant allocation of $2,104 to be exact. So that reduces the $2,500 price tag for the certification for the development of the loan package from $2,500 down to $396. That's a great deal. And then what you can certainly do, and I think this is what Mr. White's doing, is saying, okay, well, you'll pay $396 now to go through the 4 weekly modules. However, you'll get that back. So if they enroll with you in step 2, and in this example, these folks have already enrolled with Mr. White for step 2, but ignoring that you could actually credit that back to them when they go through step 2, if you wish. Okay. So the question we were on, where do the clients come from? So number one, it could be your unsold prospects from Access to Capital if you were promoting that. Second would be your sold prospects on Access to Capital that didn't get cash funding. And again, we sent out an email with suggested language for that over the weekend. And then you could have all others. And what's wonderful about this approach, and there's a few of you that were keenly involved, especially Joseph. Joseph's a realtor out of Arkansas, one of our top white label partners. And Joseph and others said, as we build this, what we want to do is make sure that we can help people increase their cash flow. So it's actually a positive cash flow event, not negative. So while they are getting the 2104 in grant allocation, which we talked about down here, they are paying the $396 when they enroll, which we've talked about. But as a client, they also automatically become an affiliate, which is referenced here. And so now they get their own landing page and they can invite other small businesses in. They get $100 for each and you get overrides. And so frankly, it's a real easy way for them to get this free. If they referred in one client a week during the 4 weeks, the 4 modules, then they've completely recouped their $396. Plus, we're on track to get them into step 2 with a guaranteed $100,000. And so that's probably the simplest way to overcome a pricing objective, because a lot of people want free. You and I see through that, right? There's not many things in life that's free. It's usually just deferring the cost to someone else. But in this case, they can enroll, get the grant allocation. They're automatically an affiliate, which doesn't cost them anything extra. It doesn't require any production. The landing page is automatic and free. But then if they referred in just one client a week, one other small business a week, then their $396 has been offset. I think that's really attractive. Now, it's interesting, and this is what Andy's asking. Andy says, well, what if they don't want to be an affiliate? Well, I mean, that's their choice. It's included automatic. They don't have to do anything with it. But I think what Andy's getting at is some small business owners say, well, yeah, I don't want to be involved with promoting something. Well, my response to that, Andy, is how would you become an entrepreneur and not have some sort of promotional skills? So no matter if you're opening a daycare center, a muffler shop, an accounting firm, a law firm, a bookkeeping firm, whatever it is you're going to do, you have to have some way to generate clients. And I realize being an affiliate is not going to replace their vision, their dream, their core business. But that's a pretty big red flag if someone has no business development competencies and they think they're going to go start a business and be successful, take on 6 or 7 digits of debt, but they have no business development skills. Massive red flag, isn't it? Okay. So who else has questions or comments, and any comments or questions are good regarding the 2-step? And I didn't get a few responses. Mr. Rich, I'm going to call you out because you were one of the key catalysts in getting this program put together with the 3 tiers of payouts. So Mr. Rich, what is your expected volume this week? Joseph, go ahead and let us know. What do you think you're going to create? John, I don't think you answered. Got a few people that might have came on later. Pauline, a few of you came on later. I'm curious what type of volume, what type of enrollments that each of you expect, if you've not answered already, in the 2-step funding program this week. If you're like Ben and you don't have a landing page, then we know there's a problem. And we said, if you don't have a landing page, please, please, please email us and we'll get that resolved. And then if you are not expecting many conversions, then there's a problem. Either we have failed to educate you properly on how this works, or you're lethargic, right? And so you won't make any money if you're not active. Regarding training, and this is the point that James is making, is we do want each of you to go through this curriculum yourself, because it is going to help you understand the value proposition of what's offered. And one of the things that we do in this new model that we hadn't done before is create a capital readiness score. And that is a quantifiable assessment of how ready that client is to move forward into step 2, into funding. Because the truth is, just because someone's a nice person or smart or funny doesn't mean that they're credible on paper. And so you can have people like the Darrens of the world that he's on top of his game and he's planning how he's going to spend $7.5 million, but there's a disconnect, right? He doesn't qualify for $7.5 million. And so by going through and calculating through a proprietary model we developed, by calculating the capital readiness score of a client, we can help them understand, are they frankly ready to go to funding? Now, they could enroll regardless, but we can go into it eyes wide open. And the score is on a 1 to 10 scale, just so you know. 10 means fully ready, 1 means not so ready. And so with that, they can understand where they're at, because we want satisfied clients. We want you to be satisfied. We want you to be profitable. But from a client's perspective, before they go into step 2, and you can upsell them whenever you want, granted, but they'll have their capital readiness score. So we are not, called CRS, capital readiness score. So we are not behind the 8 ball of getting more Darrens involved with funding, where there's just some lack of knowledge, some sort of financial illiteracy, or some level of being disillusioned in thinking that they qualify for something that they don't. And a lot of them don't understand that. All right, so Mr. Rich is going to knock out 6 this week, and thank you for that. Again, there are no production requirements. We're looking for feedback, right? Because if any of you are not taking this out to market, either we've not educated you well enough, or there's some breakdown. And so that's why we ask. Pauline says she has 4 clients for the 2-step program in the past couple of days. Excellent, excellent. And some of you are just knocking it out of the park. Let's see. And so Veronica's asked, yes. So Veronica, you're right. So the way that this is packaged, and some people love it and some people don't love it so much, is that every client becomes an affiliate. So that they're getting access to step 1 if they would like, and they're invited to, then they can participate in step 2, but everyone gets plugged in as an affiliate, no production requirements, free landing page. And so you're right, Veronica, and this was Joseph's feedback, and several of you, when we built this, I think Mr. Rich as well, said, let's integrate the 2. Let's make sure that clients can become an affiliate without any additional steps, no cost, free landing page. And let's make sure affiliates know what the hell they're talking about, because we need to have satisfied clients. And if we're out pitching things that's not true, then we won't have satisfied clients. So the best way we can train you is to take you through the 4 weekly modules. So Veronica, we would invite you to do that. If you need a landing page, you can email us here and we can help you with that. All right, Mr. Barchi has a very good question. And so on the 4 modules, again, this is similar, but there's some subtle differences from what we've historically done through Access to Capital for the 4 modules. One of the things that we've added, and it's part of module 2. So frankly, the educational curriculum hasn't changed a bit. We're still using that award-winning curriculum developed by the FDIC, promoted by the SBA. We're still helping them understand how business credit works in module 2. And we educate some on personal credit as well. But Mr. Barchi's picking up on this second sentence. So we will work with all clients that go through the small business certification, step 1 of the 2 steps, and get them at least $10,000 of business credit. And so that is a quantifiable benefit of going through it. So number one, I realize that the grant's only covering 2104, and so they're paying $396, which is still a great deal. From that perspective, as we mentioned earlier in the call, they're automatically an affiliate. They get a free landing page if they refer to in one client a week over the 4 weeks. That offsets it. But above and beyond that, which is what Mr. Barchi's getting to, is they're going to walk away with $10,000 of business credit under their EIN with no use of Social Security number. And so that's part of having a strong credit profile. That's part of looking credible on paper. And we're giving them a quantifiable benefit of participating. So Mr. Barchi's question was deeper than that, though. What does that $10,000 of business credit look like? And the answer is it depends. So we need to look at where they're at currently, and we want to start adding trade lines to build their business credit. And these are trade lines they can use. These are not pretend, figurative, just put something on their Dun & Bradstreet report or their Experian Business IntelliScore report. It's really credit that they can use for their business. But I can't give you a general answer because it will vary from client to client where they're at and what trade lines that they would qualify for. But what we do promise, what we do commit, what we will do, and it's in writing, is help them get at least $10,000 of business credit that they can use for their business. So it's real. It's not just posting figurative trade lines. Thank you, Mr. Barchi, for that question. All right, so DeAndre asked if they're looking to get their business taxes done now. That's fine. Yeah, they don't, business taxes are not due yet, nor are personal taxes. And there's not a requirement for well, let's go back to what the requirements are. I think the better answer I can give to DeAndre's question is to enroll in step 1, the only requirement is that they enroll in step 1. So it doesn't matter if they're pre-formation or post-formation, pre-revenue, or if they're earning money, if they're startup or a couple of years old, doesn't matter of their industry. Frankly, for step 1, it doesn't even matter of their location. International clients can participate in step 1. And thus, to DeAndre's question, it doesn't matter if they've done their taxes or not. There aren't any prerequisites for going through step 1 other than simply enrolling. So thank you for asking that, DeAndre. We don't need to filter people out for step 1. If they have a desire to build a loan package, to become more credible on paper, to position their business for a capital raise to get funding, they need to go through step 1. And so once we've gone through step 1, again, if there is an inconsistency of what they want and expect from what they qualify for, then we'll assist them in closing that gap. And that's either by obtaining a more realistic loan request or improving their credibility to meet the loan request that they're asking for. And again, they will get a capital readiness score, a CRS. And so, Adam, Al, Antoine, Beatrice, Ben, Bernard, Bruce, Charles, DeAndre, Doug, Jeremy, and there's like 120 of you on this morning. If you don't know what your capital readiness score is, we can help you calculate that. And we accomplish that by going through the 4-week curriculum. All right, next question. Charles is asking clarification on the 10,000, which Mr. Barchi was just asking about. Do they get 10,000? Yes, and there's no performance fee on that. That is correct. That's part of your landing page. That's the agreement. That's our commitment. And that's what we'll do. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a nice quantifiable reason that they should enroll. I was on something else and I forget what the question was. And so I apologize. Okay, so who else has any questions? Oh, here's a question. If a client has a sole proprietorship only right now and they're looking at getting an LLC, are they able to proceed? Yes, because DeAndre, what did we say the requirements are? There's only one requirement. What's the one requirement? That they go to your landing page, click and pay. So there's no other filters that you need to add other than, do they go to your landing page? Do they click and they pay? Because if they go to your landing page, click and pay, then they will receive what we've promised. Now I remember what I was going to say a moment ago. Ben was asking about delegated mentoring. So we are not doing delegated mentoring for the small business certification, just to maintain quality control and make sure that clients are getting exactly what they were promised. Now, if you want to do delegated mentoring, you'd be better off to bring people into the full Access to Capital program. They sign up with you as a white label partner. You set their terms and conditions, you set their pricing, and then you can do the mentoring yourself if you want. But in this case, we're going to do the mentoring because we want to ensure that clients have a consistent and high satisfaction event. Okay. Not saying that each of you can't mentor great, but for the small business certification, there is no delegated mentoring. If you want to mentor yourself, just bring them directly into Access to Capital. They're under your paper and you can mentor them as you want. We've just had a number of instances with white label partners that brought clients in under Access to Capital and did a really shitty job for the client in mentoring. And guess what? They go complain about us. It's like, wait, you didn't contract with us. We didn't do the mentoring. And so then we're cleaning up a lot of mess. And so we're not going to do that with the small business certification. So if you want to do the mentoring of clients, awesome, bring them directly into Access to Capital. Otherwise, what I'd recommend in general is follow this two-step approach. Bring clients in through step one. Let us determine their capital readiness score. Let us build their loan package. Let us help build their credibility on paper. And then if they're a good fit, move into step two, and you make all that money that you've been thinking about through the full Access to Capital program. Okay, who else has any questions, comments, concerns about what we covered today? So you want to use your landing page. It'll look just like this. You'll have a unique URL. And then as you promote it, as clients sign up, it automatically notifies you, it automatically credits you. And we don't have a lot of this drama that we've had in the past where clients would sign up for Access to Capital and then not accept funding or this and that. This is a much cleaner approach that's going to make you more money and clients are going to be more satisfied. All right, Mr. White asked about the mentoring on the two-step. So Mr. White, I mean, we just literally just talked about that. So you must be asking something different because I just spent 2 minutes talking about how we don't do delegated mentoring in the small business certification. And if you want to do mentoring, you bring them directly into the Access to Capital. So I don't understand your question, Mr. White, because it seems to completely ignore all that we were just discussing. So can you please ask that again, Mr. White? And are there any other questions? So if you don't have a landing page, okay, so Veronica's asking where she gets her landing page. Email us if you don't have a landing page. I thought everyone did. My mistake. support@businessparalegal.com. Email us. We'll get that resolved. You need to have a landing page because if you don't have a landing page, then the system isn't in place. Because if you have a landing page, then you direct people there, they click, they enroll, and you immediately get credit. So if you don't have a landing page, Veronica or anyone else, what are you going to do? You're going to email us and say, I don't have a landing page and we need to fix that. I apologize. I thought everyone had a landing page that wanted one. My mistake. All right, so Doug is saying, okay, well, and Doug, I think, has picked up on something that we need to clean up. So it may be that our email template on the business credit that we used to use with the access to capital referenced a performance fee, and that is not true on the small business certification. So Doug, you're right, and we'll get that fixed today. I bet that template that goes out is telling people that they will have a performance fee on the business credit build, but that is not the case in small business certification. So thank you for pointing that out, Doug, and we'll get that fixed. That's just an email template error because we're using the template from before. Thank you for pointing that out. There are no performance fees at all involved with step one, nor is there any funding with the exception of the guaranteed that 10,000 business credit, and that 10,000 business credit guarantee is business credit under their EIN, no social security number, and it's true credit they can use for their business, no performance fee. So thank you for pointing that out again. We'll get that email template corrected. That's all that it is. Anyone else have any questions? Anything that's keeping each of you from going out, and let's just say keeping you from enrolling at least one client this week. If you could enroll just one client this week in the two-step funding program, you'll make some money. You'll have a pipeline for your access to capital, which is where you make your bigger income. We'll be helping people, and you'll build your confidence and familiarity with the process. So I guess that's the request, is if we can get at least one. Beatrice, you're a great example. You're a white label partner, and you've not submitted anyone in weeks. Let's do at least one client, Beatrice, one client this week, so you can start positive revenue coming into you, and we can start helping clients, more clients get funded. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you back tomorrow. And just again, if you do not have a landing page, I apologize. I thought everyone had one now. All you're going to do is just email us here at support@businessparalegal, and we'll get that resolved today. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.